What's going on, everybody? Happy Monday, and welcome back to Chart Request Live. My name is Patrick Dunawilla. I am the editor of the Chart Report, and I'm going to be the host today. Sam Gatlin is going to be on the charts today. Sam, how we doing?
I'm well, Patrick. It's good to have you back on desk. You were just in California, or no, you
That's
were in
right.
Florida. Excuse me.
That's right.
Yeah, future proof. Yeah,
Future
how was
Proof.
it? Tell us about it.
It was good. Future Proof in Miami. I think the highlight was probably seeing Michael Saylor and his thing there. A lot of mixed reactions to that one.
So,
As
what was your takeaway, Patrick? Are you buying or selling the stock?
To be honest with you, I mean that is more based on Bitcoin itself, and I think you kind of got to be long here, but we'll look at that in a sec. But um, I walked away from the talk more confused, as opposed to as to what he's actually doing with all that stuff and whether or not it'll work. We'll see, But it was a good time, good seeing all of our friends and stuff. And here we have a little bit of a rebound happening. I heard this was the largest gap since in like a year or so, or maybe more than that. But I
I think
mean,
it's the largest gap on a Monday since
oh,
like
okay.
the middle of 2022,
I see. I
when
see.
stocks were starting to bottom.
That makes more
So yeah,
sense.
it's definitely good progress for the bulls. I'm looking at this VWAP anchored to the all-time high on the S&P 500 futures. That's
Makes
coming
sense.
in right around the 5808 level, and we just keep bumping into it. I'm really interested to see how we close this candle. Do we close above that level or not?
Yeah, absolutely. And we're right near the 200-day moving average too, trying
Yep.
to reclaim that one. If you're a moving average person, but either way, this 5800 is a big level here, and you can see it just battling it away right here on that daily candle right now. But we got a pretty stuffed mailbag here, so let's dive right in with a metal that we haven't been talking about too much. Maybe you have, but platinum.
Yes, platinum. I love the platinum. Do they want to look at the platinum futures?
Sure. Is there a good
So,
ETF for this one?
yes, there is the PPLT. So this, I suppose we could chart out the PPLT. I don't think anybody here is trading futures. So this has a billion in assets under management.
Oh, wow.
So should be plenty liquid for us. And okay, here's how I see it, Patrick. You had this crash in 2020, a like 40% crash in a matter of a few weeks. Then you rallied 120% pretty quickly. So from there, I think we could fib out that bull market run, and that could give us a clean level to trade against. You can see that buyers have continued to step up at this 61.8 retracement of this entire bull run. And you can see that this 38.2 retracement has been a pretty big level too. That's where the seller stepped in late last year in October. And I also like how it coincides with that peak in 2020. So this is a really clean level here. 97 on the PPLT. If platinum can get above there, I think this will open the floodgates for a brand new bull market. I don't think it's just heading back towards this 122 level, but if you study the previous bull markets in platinum, let's look at the futures so we can see what it did previously.
Oh, wow.
It's had some fantastic bull runs. This commodity super cycle in the 2000s, platinum rallied like 500% and a pretty much straight line higher. You had a big corrective wave here in 2004 and 2006, but besides that, it was a fantastic ride higher. So I think we're eventually heading towards that kind of environment, but not yet.
Yeah, it's amazing how it snapped right back after 2020. It seems like that level just that was like kind of a shakeout or something, and it really looks like it's coiling up for some sort of move, right?
For sure, yeah. I look at this chart every single week with a monthly Bollinger Band width indicator, and it's near its lowest level in history. So there's an epic volatility squeeze brewing here. It just needs some upward price momentum to get that ball rolling.
All right. Next, we got an Israeli aerospace and defense name.
I love it.
These Israeli names have been pretty strong lately.
Yeah.
This one's ESLT.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with this one?
I've seen the chart. I haven't studied the company at all, but this chart speaks for itself. So this is a $17.5 billion aerospace and defense stock. Let's see what they do. They engage in the defense and homeland security sector. So that's pretty cool. Kind of gangster. Let's check out the long-term trend here. So this one just has been a winner pretty much its entire existence since it went public in 1997. It's up about 11,000%.
It basically went public and never looked back.
Yeah, Patrick, that's right. This one's been a monster. Did we get any time frames?
Let me check on that. So, Israeli aerospace and defense looking like a gap and go off earnings reaction. No time frame on this one. Coming
Okay.
from Dan.
So let's just start out long term. Let's fib out this drawdown from 2009 to 2012. That was a pretty significant one. I'm sure the market
Probably the biggest drawdown, right?
Yeah, and look at this, Patrick. We just gapped above a key extension level. You know, I knew the market was going to respect these, and sure enough, it is. So 314 over long time frames is a big level, and so is 590. So let's zoom in now. Let's look at the more short-term trend here, and I think we want to fib out the weekly chart. We want this range, and let's see if we can get a little bit more of a short-term target.
It looks like it's gone parabolic recently, but it has been respecting those fibs really well.
For sure, Patrick. You can see that it just broke above this 161.8 and then turned it into support. It never was resistance. So you love to see that. That just speaks to the underlying strength in this trend. I see no reason for this one to not have a 5 handle on it before long. You know, that seems to be where this one's heading. What do you think, Patrick? Am I crazy?
I mean, you know, even when it ripped through that fib, it still validated it. Like you said, it still kind of retested it and held. Right. So like you said, I mean, if it's above that 378, no reason to think it can't make it there, right? I mean, you got RSI confirming like that. Wow. That's kind of rare to see in such a parabolic advance like that, or
just hit 89 on the 14-day RSI. Wow. That was right after the earnings report. So you had a double beat and the stock rallied. Let's see, 10.5% above that extension level. So yeah, this one's an absolute beast. Maybe you get a chance to buy there at that 378 level. I think that would be a good opportunity to buy. But yeah, this one's an absolute beast. Shout out whoever brought this one along. Good eye.
Yeah, and they're looking around too. They're paying attention.
Yeah.
This next one we got is PPTA. Precious metals. I'm not sure if it's gold or silver.
Hey, we should have done this one first, Patrick. We were just talking about platinum, precious metals. So this one is Perpetua Resources, and this is $800 million mining stock. We usually don't do stocks below $1 billion, but I'll let it pass. This is a special situation with these mining companies. You know, they're not like tech stocks that can be billions of dollars pretty easily. It is what it is. These stocks are small.
What it is. Yeah.
And this one is shaping up pretty nicely. I'm not sure what to do with this mess right here. That makes me want to stay away from it for now. I would be more inclined to buy a breakout above the prior cycle's peak, right around 15.5. From there, you could have a pretty nice trade towards 24.25. But for now, it's much harder to trade this, in my opinion. You just have a big ranging mess right here, right around the 61.8 retracement. You don't know how long this is going to last, but I'm pretty confident that the path of least resistance from here is higher. So I think the bulls will eventually get it done, but pretty sloppy in the short term. I suppose you could drop a WAP from. There's lots of places you could drop a WAP from. You could use this pivot low. So if you get any weakness, you could buy weakness towards this 975 level. Any other ways you'd mark this up, Patrick? It's just a big mess.
No, I think you made a really good point about that big mess there. And you know, with gold just absolutely chugging right now, if that can't get it done, I think that says something. And waiting for it to really confirm and tell you that it's cleared, that might be the move here. And you go through the gold miners, it's not hard to find setups like this that look even better, right?
For sure, Patrick. There's so many opportunities in the mining space that I don't really want to waste my time with this PPTA.
Yeah.
You can see that in relative terms. This is PPTA relative to GDX, the gold mining sector or industry group. Ran into that prior cycle high, like pretty much to the T, and started correcting. So that is kind of interesting to me. If it could break out in relative terms, maybe the absolute trend would follow that. I think that's the way to think about it. But at this point, it kind of seems like it's carving out some type of cup and handle pattern. It's probably going to want to just dance around here for a while. So not super actionable.
Yeah. Well, this one looks a little bit better. We got LB, Land Bridge.
Yeah, love the Land Bridge. One of the hottest energy stocks. I'm pretty sure this is an energy stock.
Yeah. It says,
So this is kind of like a Texas Pacific land situation,
Okay.
where it's not really an energy stock. It's more of a REIT, but kind of trades with the energy stocks. It's really just its own thing. But this one has been absolute monster, Patrick. Check this out. So 350% following its IPO on June 28th last year. And here you are at the upper bound of a multi-month consolidation.
And trying to get it done today.
Yeah. So energy has been the best performing sector in 2025, and LandBridge is a leader in that space. And you can see the market clearly loves what they're doing right now. And you have a clear line here at 81. I think you want to trade against this shelf of former highs from November. I am just ignoring this blow off top situation here, a little false start, a little failed breakout, whatever you want to call it, from January. But if this one's above 81, I think this one's heading towards 100. And let's look at LandBridge relative to the XLE, just to show how much of a monster this thing is. So since it's gone public, this one has generated 330% alpha relative to its peer group, the XLE.
And I should mention his time frame is about 6 months.
Yeah, I think this trade will get you done. Maybe you take half off at the 98 level and let the rest ride potentially towards this 126. If that's your time frame, because I think it's going to get once it resolves this consolidation, I think it hits that 98 level pretty fast. I don't know if it takes a month even. I'm thinking this is more of like a 1 week God candle kind of situation. But let's find out.
Yeah, I mean, this is certainly like the biggest consolidation it's had since going public last year, not even a year ago.
Yeah, it's June.
Yeah, and like you said, a huge run up before it. You know, you'd think that it would resolve in the direction of the underlying trend, make a kind of second leg out of there. I like it.
Absolutely. This is a sweet find. Who brought this one along, Patrick?
So this one comes from Hanson.
Hanson. Man,
Shout out,
great
Hanson.
find, Hanson. Shout out. You're doing something right.
Yeah. All right, let's look at Lloyd's Banking Group, LYG. This one comes from Nick. Nick in the
Nick.
mailbag. He says, should we get long, stay long, price targets?
Cool. So this is a $55 billion bank with a 4% dividend yield. This one's from the United Kingdom. It's British. So LYG relative to the XLF. Let's start out with that. And this one looks pretty nice. So here it is resolving let's see how long this has been. About a 5-year basing pattern relative to the XLF. So I love to see that relative strength. So this one's off to a good start, and you have some type of, wow, this is an epic great financial crisis base. So, you know, most of these charts, like you look at like a shitty bank or something like that, it's at this shelf of former highs. So this one, from that standpoint, is a laggard. It's not even back towards its 2015 peak. This one's at the same level it was back in 2020. So from that aspect, I don't love it. But you can see this one is breaking some type of trend line resistance here. It's certainly working in the right direction. I think we could drop a WAP from this all-time high, and that is kind of helpful. It comes in at 3.25, so that was the level to get long against, but we have missed that at this point. So I'm thinking maybe we fib out this range here, Patrick. So we had a pretty epic drawdown from this shelf of former highs in 2014 and 2015. So let's see, I'm guessing we're coming into the 61.8 retracement, and sure enough we are.
Yeah.
You can see the market found resistance there in 2018. I'm guessing we're going to find resistance there again, but any close above $4 on the LYG I think would trigger a buy with a first target of that 580 level. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's a good way to do it. And I also, you know, that little failed breakdown in 2020, you know, punched through those 2012 lows and just got right back above it. And then, you know, as you pointed out, the VWAP and the trend line, there's some sort of reversal process that seems to be brewing. So at this point, it's kind of just a matter of defining your risk and, you know, getting in and being able to hold on to a potential reversal if it does reverse.
For sure, Patrick. And this one, I think we could also benchmark it to like the EUFN, because that's really what it is. It's not, I benchmarked it to the XLF earlier, but I think that's wrong. I think this is more of like a bellwether of this EUFN. Which,
right, I was actually just looking. It's like the 13th best performer year to date, somewhere around there in the mid-teens. It's, you know, not the best, but definitely not the worst.
they're doing something right. It's trending in the right direction.
Yeah,
So I like it. I don't remember the last time I looked at this chart. So shout out, Nick, for bringing this one along.
yeah. Next one we got from Paul. Checking out ETN, Eaton.
Yeah. I see
He
these
said he's
Eaton
held it
trucks
since
around me all the time.
Oh yeah.
They're doing a lot of business out here in Kansas.
Nice. He says he's held this one since mid last year. It's down nearly 9% year to date, has a nice dividend yield. It's in that dividend yield sweet spot that Straza talks about a lot. But he's trying to figure out whether he should add here or cut it down, and his time frame's around 12 months.
Cool. So it has a 1.4% dividend yield. That is the sweet spot there. And I think this chart in relative terms is very interesting, Patrick. So this one has been an absolute monster of a stock for some time now. It resolved a nearly decade basing pattern and screamed higher for several years now. So since it bottomed in 2016, this one has generated 160% of alpha relative to the S&P 500. So
Wow.
it's pretty nice for an industrial.
Since when?
since 2016.
Oh,
So over a decade. And this isn't a tech stock, Patrick. Let's remember, this is an industrial. This is not a high
trucking
flyer.
company, yeah.
This is just a slow and steady winner. You can collect that 1.4% dividend yield, call it a day. So I think it makes sense to fib it out from this drawdown we saw in late 2021, 2022. And you can see that the market has really respected these levels. You can see this 261.8 extension level was support back on that August 5th yen yo-yo day, that disaster. And it's just really been in a range ever since then. I think you can buy support at that 260 level with a trade back up towards that 345. But they said they're long this name already, right?
Yeah.
So there's really nothing to do here. You're just in the middle of no man's land. I think you could stop yourself out on a close below that 260. This one should not do that. This is, for now, just a range. If it closes below that 260 level, this would turn into more of a confirmed distribution pattern. And you'd likely get some type of new markdown phase. You would not want to be involved in that. You'd be giving back all your gains, and that would be very painful. So yeah, I think 260 is a good stop level. Nothing to do here though right now. It's just a big mess. I think this one has potential to close back above that 345 level for sure. This is a very strong uptrend, so I wouldn't bet against it. What do you think about it?
I really like that relative performance aspect of it, right? Like, especially where we are now, like people are trying to assemble their shopping list, looking for potential stocks to get back into the market, get exposure. Why not pick a leader to do that, right?
Absolutely.
But this next one, pretty clean, and I see Wavy asking about it in the chat. But then we also got one in the mailbag from Kareem. Wants us to look at Williams WMB. I'm guessing that's Williams and Sonoma.
No. This is not Williams and Sonoma.
Okay.
Very different. This is an oil and gas pipeline company, one of the largest actually. This is about $75 billion, 3.25% dividend yield. This is a very, very different stock, Patrick.
10-year base though. I like that.
Yeah, so check out this daily chart. This one is coiling nice and tight here. I think you could draw some type of trend line resistance, potentially up here at 62.5, but really let's just
in fact, from that view, it looks a lot like that land bridge chart. Like if you just showed it looks a lot like that LB one from earlier.
So true, Patrick. So let's zoom out on this. I think that is a very important thing to do with a chart like this. So here you are at the upper bounds of a base that goes back to 2015, 2016. It looks like 2015 was that peak in June. So here you are right back at the scene of the crime, like to the very penny. This one is super actionable. If this closes above that 61 level, let's call it 61.5 just to be a little bit more sure of the breakout. This one's heading towards 94, Patrick. And it could happen awfully fast. You know, resolutions of big bases like this, sometimes they can be slow, but boy, sometimes they can skyrocket higher.
Well, and I like that this one has been trying since November, right? It's been right up there, high and tight consolidation right up there. I think that kind of increases the odds that the breakout will actually work.
For sure, yeah. This isn't the first time it's touched that pivot high from 2015. I like that a lot, Patrick. Yeah, this one's just been absorbing that overhead supply for like 5 months now at this point. It's been a long time.
I know. And you have the energy sector just starting to work. And man, like I was saying, I think that land bridge was my favorite until we saw this one.
This one has been a beast relative to the XLE too. So since it bottomed in 2023, this one's had about 100% of alpha relative to its peer group. So I love that aspect of it. I would like to see it above this high from 2020. So I don't love that from a relative strength standpoint. We were looking at Landbridge earlier, and that one was making new all-time highs in relative terms. But this one, in absolute terms, is at this level, but in relative terms, it's much lower. So over longer time frames, this one might not have as much strength potentially, and it is like a $75 billion stock. So understand what you're trading here. This one is more of a bellwether of the space, and not a super high flyer.
Yeah, I'm thinking of WSM for Williams
Yeah.
and Sonoma. This company is definitely not selling oven mitts and spatulas.
Right. Pretty different. It's it couldn't be more different, actually.
Yeah. So here we are. We're done with the mailbag here. We got a request for Fartcoin in here. It's funny, someone earlier today was like, "Hey man, did you see the relative strength in that thing?" I haven't looked at it in a minute, so let's take a look.
What is the ticker for the Fartcoin?
I think it's Fartcoin USD. Yeah.
Ah, okay. I like it, Fartcoin. So, yeah, boy, look at this. Screaming higher. This one is up, let's see, 200% since it bottomed on March 10th.
That looks like nothing, right?
Yeah. No, this one can move, Patrick. So Louis has been pointing out that the average crypto is down 60%, and this one is down. It recently suffered a 93% drawdown. So this one, it's a crazy crypto to trade. It doesn't get more junky than this, but hey, you could make an absolute fortune in a very short amount of time. So that's what you're doing here. You want to position size responsibly, because this one could overnight have some type of 95% drawdown like we just saw from a January peak to the March trough. So it happens in a flash. You want to be careful with these, but it looks to me like it's coming out of a pretty textbook bearish to bullish reversal pattern. I think this is the level to trade against, this pivot high from February. It comes in right around that 58 level, and you are there right now. So super clean, super actionable, super smelly. I like this.
Yeah, I mean, I can't believe that little rebound there is 200%. Absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Let's move on to MRCY. Mercury Systems. 2 billion aerospace and defense.
I love it. Is this also Jewish, or this is US? Okay, cool. So let's zoom out. Let's see. This is a pretty big time loser over longer time frames. This is at the same. It's actually below the level it was at with the .com bubble. You can see it tried to break out around 2020, and it failed pretty miserably.
Man. What a slow and painful failure too.
Yeah, that was definitely what I was thinking, Patrick. That was gross. And here it is in relative terms versus the S&P 500. Big sloppy mess. It's in a pretty severe drawdown. It's underperformed by about 85% since it failed that breakout in 2020. I think you could potentially bet on some type of primary trend reversal here, but I'm not a huge fan of it just because of that relative weakness. I like to buy things that are in relative uptrends and showing strength over multiple time frames. And this one is showing weakness over multiple time frames. But if you have some reason to be fundamentally bullish on the Mercury, I think you could use this VWAP from that failed breakout in April of 2020 to confirm your thesis. So far, it has not. But if this one gets above 50, I think you have a chance. And from 50, and I love how it coincides with this retracement level too. So that 50 to 52 level is a very big one.
Look at that. Went there right a few weeks ago and just
Yeah,
didn't do it.
yeah, pretty cool. See how that works, Patrick. That was the earnings reaction, just pinged right to that level. Like it could not have been more perfect. I mean, look at this, to the exact penny, Patrick.
Wow.
The market's rigged. It's rigged to my price levels.
Always the case.
Yeah.
But Sam, we gotta wrap it up here. Let's take a look at one more. Hood or hymns? I'll let you pick.
I like the hood.
Okay.
I like the financials. This one has suffered a pretty quick drawdown. This one corrected about 50% in a matter of days. But I think
mean, all those growth stocks, whether it's hymns or hoods or bros or Palantir, I mean, they were surging into this correction. But a few of them have bounced back pretty sharply these last few days.
Absolutely, Patrick. Yeah. It was a quick and dirty corrective wave. So it could take some time to repair that damage. I'm not expecting this one to just come back to life and make new all-time highs next week, but I think it could just dance around the 61.8 retracement level for a while. I think you could accumulate a position around that 46 level. And eventually, I think this one does make new all-time highs. I think you could trade this one up to that 161.8 extension level. Comes in right around 110 on the hood. If you want to buy this one on strength, I think you could drop a WAP from this pivot high. So that would come in right around that 46 level. So we gapped above that today. So you could trade this one against here. If you get any weakness, you could buy it towards 46. I think buyers will show up there, but yeah, good to see that short-term momentum. I love how the RSI is getting back above that 50 level, trying to climb back into
barely hit oversold.
Yeah, love this one.
And I like that it gapped right above that VWAP from the peak.
Absolutely. Yeah, the market is respecting this VWAP. I think you can expect buyers to show up there if you get a dip there. So I love to see how it's respected it. It just adds to your confidence.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Sam, we'll leave it here for today. If we didn't get to your ticker, be sure to email us at questions@stockmarketmedia.com. And I, myself, Sam, or Alfonso will get to it on, what is it, Thursday?
Yeah, Thursday, same time, same place.
Before we go, what's your favorite one?
Definitely the land bridge. I love the energy
land bridge,
right now.
Not the Williams?
No, the land bridge is a much bigger winner. Let's look at it relative.
And you know what? To your point, it doesn't have that overhead supply to contend with that Williams does, right? Because this is a new issue. So, I mean, similar look, similar structure, similar sector, everything, but it doesn't have that overhead supply to contend with. Oh, you're looking at a relative now. Nice.
Yeah, this is Landbridge relative to the Williams, and you can see Landbridge is clearly the winner. So I'm going to pick the winner 10 times out of 10.
I think you might have convinced me as well there.
I love it.
So yeah, I see we missed Uber, CLS, GSAT, a couple of those. We'll try to get to them Thursday, but we'll see you guys again then. Thanks.
For sure. Thanks for being here, everybody.